This is Real with Robo, and while my husband is watching his Stargate SG-1 that we've seen over a million times,
Wah.
hush, no one's talking to you. I was thinking, I was doing me some thinking again. I just listened to the most awesome gospel CD that ever was created. By the way, if you would like to hear what I listened to, I'm going to do a special reel with Robo with one of the songs on it if the artist allows me to, so that I could get it out there and get it circulated, because it should be heard like by everybody. But as I was listening to the CD that I got for my birthday, um, a lot of things went through my mind, like why we're in the state we're in today. You know, there's a lot of people saying that once, the Chicago mayor, Lori Lightfoot, decided to go ahead and add two more police units, designations onto the police force, crime has dropped significantly. When she allowed the feds to come in there, crime has dropped significantly, and the rioters have stopped doing their nonsense for the most part. You know, and that just shows me that when enough people, good people like you and me, the people that are the quote unquote silent majority, we get together and we raise a stink and let our governing bodies know we're not putting up with this. You know, it's fine and dandy for y'all because, you live in large, walled houses, mansions with your own security, and, cops are on speed dial and respond, to your stuff like quicker, because there is inequality, but it's not the inequality that most people are talking about nowadays. It's the inequality of rich versus poor. Of course, Hollywood stars can speak the way they do and encourage the violence that they encourage because, you know, if you put one of their people that have gotten into police trouble up against one of our people that have gotten into police trouble for the same thing, you would see the two-tier justice system. It's not against blacks. It's not against Hispanics or Latinos. It's not against anybody else. Okay, the two-tier justice is rich and poor. For example, Moesha, the chick that used to play Moesha, she got drunk one night and went drunk driving, and she hit a person and killed them. Did she spend any prison time? No. Now you take one of us that are broke as a joke with no hope, and you put us drunk behind the wheel and we hit somebody and kill them, we'd be up under the jail. You see what I'm saying? And that's real. That's something that nobody could argue with. Nobody. Then that got me to thinking, why are we fussing and fighting? Criminals are criminals. I don't care if they're rich criminals. I don't care if they're poor criminals. They're criminals. And the justice system should be blindfolded to their money, which it is not. And so it's easy for people like Michael Shanks, for example, since, my husband's watching SG-1, Michael Shanks to sit up in his mansion in Hollywood, safe and secure, and say, oh yeah, they should be rioting. It's not fair. It's white privilege. It's all this, all that. And if you got a problem with me speaking like this, then you're violating my First Amendment rights. Well, Mr. Shanks, have you ever thought of the people that actually have to deal with these riots? Well, you're sitting there making movies and TV shows. They're sitting there trying to sell a shirt, a dress, a pair of pants, a pair of socks, you know? And you're saying that it's okay for these people to be rioting and throwing a fit and burning down businesses and looting them? Now, how fair would it be if you were in those people's shoes? Would you like somebody to applaud your business getting burnt down? Your livelihood getting looted and stolen from? And your children having the food taken out of their mouths? And then some wishy-washy B-rated actor, because that's what you are. You are definitely no, I want to say Michael, but I know that's not his name, but you are no MacGyver, okay? That's what you not. Richard Dean Anderson, okay? That's what you not, okay? Would you like somebody like that to sit up in their mansion with their wife, with their kids, enough to eat, enough to feed probably a third world country, clothes on their back, can go shopping whenever they want, roll in their car whenever they want, and they telling you that it should be okay with you that people are taking food out of their children's mouths, that people are stealing from their businesses? I mean, what kind of mess is that? Really though. And I wish somebody would send Michael Shanks this video so then he could answer some questions for me that I've been wondering about. Number two, like I've been saying about this is my First Amendment rights, and whenever you want, I could take the gloves off and we could throw the gloves down. First of all, wrong analogy, bro. I could take these gloves off and you could catch these hands. All right?
He's thinking hockey, which is very Canadian of him.
And the simple fact of the matter is, you're from Canada, your wife from Canada, and y'all in America enjoying the privileges that America gave you. Okay? Straight up. Our vets fought for that. Not Canada's vets. You see the mess Canada's in, and then you want to bring your liberal self to America and put us in the same situation as Canada. No, thank you. So while you're abusing your First Amendment right that was brought to you by American vets, how about you actually utilize another right that you have that is inalienable, which is thinking before you speak or act, and realizing you're applauding, and people like you are applauding violence, destruction, people's livelihoods going down a toilet. And then you wonder why people don't care about what Hollywood has to say. That's the reason. Cardi B was sitting up there crying over eating Captain Crunch. And yet, there are people who have children right now in the middle of the coronavirus who can't even afford a Wish sandwich. You know what one of those is, Michael? A Wish sandwich is a sandwich where you wish something was in between the bread. All right? So while you sitting on your high horse, how about you come down a couple notches and try and understand where we're coming from? We understand where you're coming from. You open your mouth, you walk on everybody else, you holler my First Amendment rights, you holler listen to me and respect my rights, and yet you don't listen to nobody or respect their rights, so why should we, is the question. Second of all, you're an immigrant, a legal one, though the case may be, but you're bringing your liberal thoughts that is destroying Canada to America, and you're destroying America, the same country that gave you that freedom of speech that you so happily abuse. So when you're ready, honey, I'll take these gloves off and you can catch these hands. That is, if you're not a coward like The Rock, asking, where is our leader? First of all, he's not our leader. He is the one that is elected to govern. All the people that are elected are there at we the people's leisure. So where is our leader? No, where are our leaders? Because like you, like many other Hollywood superstars, The Rock is sitting up in his fancy little house with his fancy little security, with his guard dogs and whatever else, and telling people, hey, Trump is in the wrong. How is Trump in the wrong? Trump ain't governing those cities. Trump ain't denying federal help. So for real though, you need to be asking, where is the Democratic leaders? Where are the Democratic leaders who are allowing San Francisco to be like San Francisco and LA to have a threat of the bubonic plague? Really? Chicago being burnt, everybody being robbed, raped, murdered every weekend. It gets worse and worse. Mayor Lightfoot finally got the good foot on and got a brain on, and she said, hey, maybe if there's more cops, there'll be less violence. Boom, look at that. Trump was right again. And so was everybody else that was hollering that to her. See, I get to thinking sometimes, and honestly, philosophically, there is nothing wrong with putting yourself in other people's shoes. And it really bothers me when people in the rich seats don't care about the people in the poor seats until it touches their lives. This coronavirus thing, 99.7% of the people that catch it recover from it. It's no worse than the flu in statistics. I mean, an actual coroner said that a person that was killed in a car crash was written down as a coronavirus victim, died from coronavirus, because when he had his autopsy, he tested positive for coronavirus. So they wrote him down as a coronavirus victim. He died in a car crash. Y'all see what I'm saying? There's a lot of mess going on and a whole bunch to unpack. And if you think about it, you could bring it up like this. Pelosi on TV this morning talking about how, she's this holy Catholic and that she remembers a prayer, and she couldn't even say the prayer. She was coughing and choking up. And me personally, being a Christian, that kind of looks like God telling the rest of his people. This woman lying out her mouth got the nerve to let her snake tongue waggle and say there's a prayer for this. There may just be a prayer for that, but tell me why, my good Christian folk, my good Catholic folk, my good atheist folk, tell me why, if she's so concerned about the little man and little woman, why did she stop up the bill for failed Democrat policies, or whatever the party is today? They're infiltrators, socialists, Marxists, commies, and progressives. I've been saying that for the longest, and now people are finally coming to light. You could have known that like years ago when I started telling you about the infiltrators. But irrelevant, another story for another day. But if you look at if she cared about the little people like she say she cared, why are they holding that money up for failed policies, for failed socialist policies, for legalizing pot, And for, what was the other one? Oh yeah, higher minimum wage at $15 an hour. Do you know what $15 an hour would do? It would wreck the economy and wreck unemployment. You want to know why? Because you thinking right now, okay, so the minimum wage is about $8 an hour. When I worked for minimum wage, it was like $4 an hour. If you got up to $5 and $7 an hour, you were doing a really good job. Okay, so $8 an hour. Now you figure at $8 an hour, an employer can afford to hire 10 people to work the shift. Okay? And this is all hypothetical, just to show you what I mean. Well, now you double the minimum wage and you go up to $15 an hour, $16 an hour, and the employer can only hire half. That's how numbers work. It doesn't work the other way. Of course, more people are going to want a job, but the employer ain't going to be able to pay them, because no matter what the minimum wage is, unless they raise the prices and there's more demand for that particular service, say going to Burger King, they raise the prices in order to keep those 10 people on at $15 an hour. People ain't going to go to Burger King. They're going to have a family Burger King, what we call a poor man's Burger King, where daddy go out on that grill, flip you a couple burgers, there you go, that's Burger King.
Yeah, that's some good shit right there.
Watch your language, it's Sunday.
Sorry, my bad. That's some good stuff.
Now, you see what I'm saying though? So, he's going to be making the same money per month, and he's only going to be able to, sell it for a certain price, else people ain't going to go there. And so that means he's only going to be able to hire half. That means the other half is going to be unemployed. That means crime is going to skyrocket, because they ain't going to have no money to pay for their children's foods and other stuff like that. So you see what I'm saying? It's ridiculous. If she cared so much for us, and I do believe that God got her tongue when she was trying to talk about that prayer thing.
Sorry.
God seriously got her tongue and put some dust in her throat where she could not speak. Lord have mercy. Because she was lying from her snake tongue. If she really cared about us, she would have let that thing pass. She would have said, okay, you know what? You saying $2 million, we're saying $5 million. Look, let's compromise, go with $3 million. We'll work the rest of the madness out. She wouldn't be so bipartisan and saying, well, if you legalize pot, if you raise the minimum wage, if you do this, if you do that, if you do that. If she cared, she would have been on board. Like, period, point blank. And, I've been philosophical all day. I rarely get into my philosophical moods. But when I do, I get blocked and banned without even cussing or insulting anyone. Like, I seen these elders getting harassed, beat up, and threatened by those rioters. And you cannot say they are mostly or even close to being peaceful protesters. They are rioters, and they are criminals, and they are violent. Period. When you slam a paint bucket by an old lady's head who is walking with the walker, and you scare her, that is not being peaceful. That is not being mostly peaceful. That is called being violent. That's being hateful. And that's being disrespectful. And that's exactly what I seen. And so the conversation was, why should we respect those old F words? And I said, you know what? They have a lot of history in them, a lot of knowledge. And this is true about our elders. And this is how I'm going to end my video. They have a lot of knowledge, to disrespect that, to not listen to the knowledge that they paid for, the wisdom they paid for with their innocence, and they give that wisdom, that bought and paid for wisdom, to us freely. They're like books of knowledge. They're tomes of knowledge. And to not listen to them and hearken their word is like burning down a library. Once that knowledge is gone, it's gone. You cannot get it back. And believe me, the words that are written in ink on the history books, in the history books, whatever, is not like the way people tell it. You read a story about Vietnam, a battle of Vietnam, and you go to a vet that was actually there, and you ask them, what was this like? And they can tell you how they felt, the mental duress, the reaction, the way everybody was feeling, everything. They give you so much knowledge. They give you a understanding, a depth of knowledge that no book could ever give you. And I see these people disrespecting, hurting, beating up our elders. I mean, even Joe Biden, I feel bad for him because it's clear he's not mentally all there. And it's not his fault, because as humans grow and age, they get to a point where, senility sets in, and sometimes Alzheimer's, and sometimes dementia. And literally they forget more than we'll ever know. But I see all this elder abuse. So when that person asked me, why should we respect them? I told him exactly what I just told you. And I got blocked and banned for it. And that's what people don't realize, is the beauty in our elders, the willingness to share their wisdom so that we don't have to sacrifice our innocence to gain that knowledge, to gain that wisdom. And that's what I'm asking of Hollywood stars, and why I get onto them so much, and other people on the left so much, and even people on the right. Stop piping off. Shut your mouth and listen. Try and put yourself into that person's shoes and understand, if it was your livelihood, you wouldn't want that. So why are you encouraging it? But it's not going to stop until people like myself, intelligent people, stand up and say, quit it, cut it out. You need to stop this. Because as my husband said, and he made a gorgeous point today, these anarchists that are fighting and wanting to burn down the system, they're not going to put a new system in place. When they do put the system that they're demanding in place, they're going to find something wrong with that and want to burn down that system too. Because they can't put their hand on anything. They don't stand for anything. That's why they fall for everything. But stop abusing our elders. The left, the Democrat Party, needs to stop abusing Joe Biden. Let the old man alone. Because that is elder abuse. And I mean, where are these activists for elder abuse? Look at that poor man. And I'm not asking you, hey, feel sorry for him because he's a poor old man, so vote for him. No, because he has absolutely no mind to lead a sing-along at an old folks home, never mind a country, and the most powerful one in the world at that. Okay? And I stole that from somewhere. I can't remember where, but I stole that.
Conservative Twins, wasn't it?
No.
No.
But that is a fact. We need to stop this elder abuse, this police abuse, this small man and woman American abuse. We need to, if anything, reassemble the justice system where Lady Liberty is blind for the rich and the poor, where it's equal there. And we need to stop listening to hate, because it's so easy to hate. It's not easy at all to love and to show concern for others. Look at Pelosi. Look at the way she is. What's in her heart shows on her face. It shows on her aura, her attitude. The way people are just like, ugh, I can't stand her. And even though Trump is obnoxious and abrasive, and so am I, you know where my heart is. I want my people to unite, and that's Americans. I want us to unite. But before we do that, we need to figure out for ourselves where we stand. I stand with the police. I stand with the law. I stand with law and order. I stand with the little guy. I stand for equal justice under the law for everyone. And I stand for, if those Hollywood people actually knew how hard it was on those people whose businesses are constantly being destroyed by the rioters that they encourage, they wouldn't be so quick to encourage it. Just like some of the mayors and governors found out the hard way when they came to their parts of town. And even though they had support signs in their windows, they still defaced their homes. It's now getting to the point where we need to listen to the wisest people of them all, and that's our elders. Our elders are out there saying, we support the fight against police brutality, but we support all of it for every color, every race. Not just one. We support peace and we support knowledge. We need to support our elders and listen to their wisdom. Because before we know it, our elders are going to pass and we'll never, ever be able to have that wisdom without paying that price of our innocence for it. So folks, it's up to you. Either you listen to me or you don't. But either way, we need to all come together, united as one, and say enough using us for political gain, for power, for whatever else. Enough catering to the mobs and the criminals. Enough hurting us for your own little sideshows. And enough abusing our elders. Me personally, if I catch somebody abusing my elder in front of me or anywhere around me, I will take these gloves off and you will catch these hands. And that's real with Robo. Respect your elders, you little snotbags.